My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with Internal Revenue Service. Today I'm going to be talking about solutions if you have got hit with the trust fund penalty and what that's all about. My name is Mike Sullivan. Welcome to my YouTube station. This is short and quick. I'll tell you everything you need to know in 3 minutes and you'll hear the truth. I've worked thousands of cases, maybe over 10,000. I worked at IRS for a decade, been in private practice for 40 years. I've been on all the major news stations. You can see all my interviews in a nice suit and tie, looking pretty, not at my home, just shooting stuff at you. Anyway, go to 777irs.com. I've been on Fox a couple times, Newsmax, News Nation, ABC, NBC, CBS, all the major stations. And here I am live to you today. Anyway, I want to talk to you today about trust fund taxes. As a former IRS agent, I set up trust fund penalties. I can't tell you how many trust fund cases I've worked, probably 1,000 of them, at least 1,000. I would go into a corporation and decide who was responsible. At that point in time, I would then go ahead and set that penalty up, and then boom, all of a sudden, anyone who was responsible for that penalty would be assessed the penalty, and then IRS wants to collect that debt. So what the trust fund penalty is, if you're listening to this, is that IRS has gone into the business and they've looked at the 941s and they've determined, hey, there's unpaid tax liability, and they have to determine who's responsible for the tax. So IRS usually looks at bank signature cards, corporate resolutions. They generally take a 4180 interview and they want to find out what's going on with the 4180, who's responsible, and poof, you may have got this. Are there defenses? Yes. Even after it's been set up? Yes. You can always go ahead and kind of protest or file a claim or file an offer and compromise and say, you know, I was never really responsible for that tax. As a former revenue officer, if I sent a notice to you that you were, I want to call you in because I want to ask you, I think you may be responsible, and you never showed up, you never called me, you may have got set up for the penalty, or you may have worked for that company and IRS sent you up and you didn't think that that was right. You have many, well, the big option is you can file an offer and compromise, doubt as to liability to reopen and re-examine that case, or you can file an 843 claim, one of the two. So if you've been tagged with this penalty, or the penalty is really a bad word. What it is, it just transfers the trust fund liability to somebody. I never liked the word penalty in there. It's just really, hey, here's a trust fund penalty. It's now yours. They're going to treat that as though you owe personal income tax. IRS is going to want a 433F, 433A financial statement, depending on who's working the case. And then IRS is going to look at you, they're going to examine you, and they're going to want to put you into a payment plan, a hardship, or put you in a hardship, or you can file an offer and compromise. So if you've been stuck with this trust fund penalty, you think it was unfair, you can contact us. If you were responsible and you're dealing with the debt, you need help, you may want to give us a call. But anyway, that's what the trust fund's all about. There's always options to protest and appeal things with IRS. If you call my office, you'll talk to me directly. I'm welcome for comments. You want me to do a YouTube on something? If you, like I said, just hit me up. Give me a subscription if you would. Those are really important to us because it helps YouTube know who's doing well. I got about 8,500 subscribers, so I'd appreciate being another one. Thank you.